explain your hiring process at Ames and GCS. So Taylor, David, and Rob were all strategically hired by me to build this. Not necessarily Ames, they help with Ames a lot, and that's kind of like the catalyst. But I want to build something that's more of a digital play, whether it's a mastermind or a group. I just saw a void in the market, a hole in the market when it came to the glass industry. And so I think that by working through this and doing this free stuff like this, eventually we could start a really, really cool mastermind that I think a lot of people would get a lot of value from, where we can interview home builders, designers, architects, and talk about different practices, create a training manual that we could all share to grow our company, marketing tactics, all that kind of stuff. But then other than that, we always just kind of fill a void. Whenever we see we're strategically going after something. Like right now, we're really doing windows. So trying to document all the process so we can bring on green hands. And I'm getting people straight out of high school, training them fast, and trying to turn them into lead guys with to run a business. And then, so what's your hiring process? So we can stay on that one little question we got.
So as far as hiring, that's a tough one for me because I really don't have like a exact process to hire someone. It's kind of just like you to fill the void when I need it. But we'll also sit back and think of, what kind of trucks can we run? For example, right now we're running a truck that has 2 leads in it and we're short a helper, but we're getting a lot more production done with that. So, we'll look into sometimes hiring a lead over, it's just one of those things. So I got to just fill it when we start getting busy, and we just make the decision on the fly to hire.
And yeah, when it comes to hiring, we're currently trying to expand. So yeah, we've hired a few guys that haven't sort of worked out because we are after quality guys. We can't really afford to be going back to any jobs or anything, so we need it done right the first time. So we've been through a couple of guys lately, but I mean, our team that we've got on, our full-time workers are all good. But yeah, I've just sort of found that we need to be better at firing and work out if they can walk the walk and talk the talk. So anyone can write whatever they like in a resume, but whether they live up to that's another thing, and you need to work that out rather quickly, I think, rather than wasting time on people that aren't going to have the same mindset.
Even in an interview, someone could fool you. In the first 2-3 weeks, somebody can fool you. I always think it's like usually about that 30-day mark where someone's gonna slip and let their real personality show through. They can't fake it for that long. Something cool about Brandon, just to brag on him a little bit right now. Last year, what he did financially in revenue, he's almost doubled that with the same amount of employees, just because he's been able to go up on the size of the job, the quality of the job, the prices, the margins, all that. So that's something to think about when we talk about simplifying. You can do more with less.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we went from last year 1.5 million to this year we're going to do over 2.5 million this year at this location in Phoenix.
So did everyone hear that? So they wanted to know the best way to market on social media, whether it was paid or organic content. For us, you see that we put out a lot of content. I might be the only glass company that has a full-time videographer on staff. But I really, like I said, that's why I know all of you, and we know I was able to send out a DM with like 75 people that are just on glass companies through IG. So I really like the organic stuff. I think it's cool. But even Dan, who's not on here anymore, he was telling me that he's only spending $10 a day, but a very specific niche, 43-year-old women in an 8-mile radius. So super specific. And he's just showing his showers, boosting his posts. And you can look on, he gets like 600, 700, 800 likes per shower picture. And my videos don't even get that many views. So not even spending that much money, but he's getting that brand awareness. I don't really run branding campaigns. We really like product campaigns. So when I spend money on the internet, it is very specific to make money. So if I spend $2,000, I want them to spit out $30,000 for me. Paid advertising is where it's at. Or you don't really get the bang for your buck on Facebook like you used to. It's kind of caught up. It's not underpriced attention anymore. It's kind of like you get what you pay for and you have to be good at it. But Instagram ads, we haven't started running them, but we're building some out now. And then for organic stuff, y'all need to go check out TikTok. Some of y'all might be a little old or older and not want to use that for mature, not older, yeah, more mature. My HR over here. But TikTok is where it's at right now for the youngsters, and all it takes is a 13-year-old girl saying she saw a sweet bathroom, and she goes and shows her parents who are building a 10,000 square foot home, and there you have a 5 showers, mirrors, and wine cellar going on, right? So you never know where the youngsters are. They a lot for their sales. Brandon, tell them about how you trained one of your guys to measure for showers.
So I literally trained this guy, and I mean, it's phenomenal how good of a measure guy he became. But I literally had him taking pictures at every point of his measure, and then it got to a point where I literally had him wearing a GoPro camera every time he went out to measure, so I can double check his measurements before I ordered the shower. So he would look at his tape measure everywhere he measured, and then his level everywhere, and I can actually see the whole shower being measured in front of me. And I've caught so many mistakes by doing it. It became a process, but we eliminated a lot of mistakes by him learning how to measure with a GoPro on.
That's pretty funny because like we're talking about leveraging technology here, you know, using this, you would never think a bunch of glazers are on a Zoom call, like a bunch of marketing companies utilize this kind of stuff, you know, but leveraging technology before you even realized you were leveraging technology.
Yeah.
Hey, so someone just asked a live question, DE Glass Services. I'm going to ask it to you, Brandon, and you kind of give me your input there. I think everyone could get some good value from this. But as you grow and land more commercial projects, how do you manage cash flow? We do lots, roughly 200 shower doors each year, and that helps. But chasing commercial money is a full-time gig. We can relate to that.
I think that's a better question for you, since I don't do too much commercial. I do, you know, a lot of residential, but some of the bigger residential jobs that are like commercial, like the hotels and stuff, we try to knock those out as fast as we can. So the faster we get the glass on site and put in for a draw, and the faster we get it done, we get paid on the job. For instance, we just did 150 door and panels that went to the ceiling in 6 weeks. We had 3 guys out there, 2 lead guys and a helper, and they would go out. It was out of town work in Tucson, and they'd go out there for 3 days and they would install a floor. So in 3 days for 6 weeks, we completed that job. So we literally almost completed the job before we got our first payment on the job. That's how fast they got done. So
That's awesome.
I think just the turnover helps. The faster you get the commercial projects done, the faster you get your draws in, the faster you get paid on it. And then using some of that residential money to back that if you can, to drag it out.
So as far as that question, I don't know DE Glass, I don't know your name. I know we've talked a few times on IG. Shoot me your name in the comments on the live. That'd be cool. But as far as that, to backdoor what Brandon just said, commercial destroyed us. Not even it broke us as a company. When I first got here, I asked my uncle what we could handle, because I'm a hell of a salesman, or at least I like to say that I am. And he's like, anything under 3 stories, doesn't matter the size, we got that shit. I went out and I sold jobs like crazy. I got an Instagram video called Fishing for Whales, and I literally went fishing for whales. I looked for the 5 biggest commercial contracting companies in the Austin area. I got a meeting with all of them, and I remember going to an association party. Just a quick little story real quick. Went to an association. I meet Hensel Phelps. They do $4 billion a year. I'm talking to the lady. She's like, oh, we need a glass company. We only have 2 glass companies in all of Texas that can handle our work. Do you think you can? Well, duh, I can, right? That's what I tell her. And then She's like, do you do lunch and learns? I'm like, of course, you know, just shooting shit right on my ass. And then I walk out the door and I Google what is a lunch and learn, because I didn't even know, right? I call Taylor and I'm like, hey, have you ever had a salesman for lunch and learn? She gives me the breakdown. So I set up a lunch and learn thinking, oh, you know, a couple people going to be in the room. I'm going to go buy some Texas barbecue, impress these people, put together this presentation, buy about enough barbecue for a dozen people. Well, 75 people showed up in the room, and I'm in the front of a conference room with probably 150 seats in there. They're asking me questions left and right. Anyway, I bullshitted my way enough to land a job with those guys, a very large job, and it broke us. We didn't have the project managers, the estimators, the people on the back end that could do that and continue to do the work. And I was busy selling and growing the rest of the jobs. So things got really crazy. So that's really why we simplified. Now we do small retail storefronts, one story, keep it real easy, interior part. I learned from them though, that all the big companies only want to do the building envelopes. They want to close the building in. They don't want to touch the inside. So there's a huge void in that market, and they're a worldwide company. So just know it's probably the same in your area. But on the bigger commercial jobs, like how Brandon got all those showers on that hotel, someone else closed the building in, and they were able. Another smaller company can come through the interior partitions, interior heavy glass, that kind of stuff, and it's a little bit smaller, easier to scale. But that's why we do residential, and I like the windows and the things that I can control. Showers for me, really why we stopped was lead times. 2 to 3 weeks waiting on a shower destroyed us. Customers got mad. It was ruining our customer service, and we have a really good reputation for that. My uncle's built about 34 years, and we now do windows because, like I said, we have a family relationship with the supplier. It actually used to be our company, and we sold it, I think 5 to 6 years ago. And so we can get an IG made in 2 hours if it's annealed. I can get tempered IGs in 3 to 5 days, and I can get annealed IGs next day to 3 days. So I could go sell a 55 window house for $15,000, get the glass in 3 days, and install it, finish the job in 1 day. And I got a 3-4 man crew making $15,000 in a day, and I can do that day in, day out. So it generates a lot of cash flow. We run a lot of leads to that. If you guys want to learn about leads, we could talk about that stuff. But yeah, that's where we got killed by commercial cash flow. So that's why we've really kind of narrowed down to IGs, because we are in more control, and therefore we can control our money situation a little better.